going on, gentlemen? Welcome back. So, let's talk about plastic people. Let's talk about plastic women and plastic couples, right? Because I was looking at one of these posts on a Passport Brothers channel, and the guy talked about how this celebrity demonstrated high income, by spending, right? By his ability to spend. And I was like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. Why would anyone fucking demonstrate high income? Why is that even an issue? Why is that even important? That is so against the founding principles of this country. Where people were frugal, where they lived for freedom and not to boast, not for self gratification and their ego and to show somebody else how much money they had, But that's what I saw on one of these Passport Brother channels. So I guess that's important. It's important to people nowadays to demonstrate high income. You see, for the guy that's willing to go out of his way, and it's funny. I see these fools. They're fools. I see them dressed with Oriental clothing, and I'm sure you've seen that too. They completely change their personality. They go to the Far East, and and the woman changes them to the point where they wear a pair of blue jeans, and they wear some Oriental top piece. You see, so they look somewhat traditional. So it's funny. You got a black guy, and you guys know me. I have nothing against my black brothers. I see them as equals, as human beings, unlike some of the other MGTOW content producers in the manosphere. So let me make a quick pause here, to make a point that's somewhat relevant to this. If your favorite content producer is calling you names, you see, if they're not really respecting you as a human being, if they talk to you on their videos in a way that they wouldn't talk to you on the street, because you could potentially just punch them in the nose. Are they real? Are these the kind of people you want to be learning and consuming content from? So I'll leave you with that question regarding that issue. But what I'm saying here is, going back to the topic of showing a high income. This is all for the show. This is all for the punani, right? And this is all about ego gratification, and it's downright ignorance. It's ignorance, and if you study the wealthy, and I know some of the MGTOW content producers have read books like The Millionaire Next Door and some other books, Kiyosaki, and with his Rich Dad Poor Dad and some other financial literature, right? Financial information about how the wealthy live, how the wealthy truly live in America. That the rich are frugal. The rich are thrifty with their money. You see, and it's the wannabes. It's the ones that are broke, that go into debt to show others that they have high income. And so when you come out here, what you're looking at is, you're looking at people that are not real. You're looking at people that are, in essence, they are plastic. They're plastic people, and their conversation always leads to the same. What kind of car are you driving, right? What neighborhood you live in, right? What I got this widget and you got that gadget, and my widget is better than your gadget. Oh yes, but my gadget has X, Y, and Z on top of it being just like yours. And then the one that owns the widget says, yes, but my widget has A and B and C on top of that, and that makes it a better widget than the widget that you have. And these people, they're constantly comparing each other, to see who's got the bigger slong, to see who's spending the most money, right? To see who is the king of spending, who is the king of consuming. And and the men become plastic. They you can see it in their personality. These are buffoons, and the women are just the same. But the women go one step further. You see, the women become, like I heard it in another MGTOW channel, which I respect. They're nothing but science experiments. You see, they're science experiments. They just they experiment so much with their bodies that you could pretty much just just call them plastic, because that's what they are. They're plastic people inside out. All the injections, and these kind of people, they don't just buy a car because they like the car, because they appreciate the high quality of of the engine that's inside that car, an engine that unless people never look at it, right? Nobody. So it's an engine or transmission. They never talk about the details of what's important. Say in an automobile, for example, where what kind of chassis does it have, or is it unibody construction, or is it well built? Is it well built to last, right? Is it an efficient automobile? Does it work for my family? Does it work for my family? Does this vehicle does it fit my needs, and nothing else, right? Or am I just spending money just to show that I can drive this, right? Just to show the neighbors that I'm the man. And so these are all plastic people, but these people, you see, these people are owned. They're owned by the banks, and the banks, is truly pathetic, because the banks have this country grabbed by the balls. Whatever the politicians say means nothing. The whatever the bankers say, the politicians have to dance to that tune. They have to dance to the tune of the bankers. Whether they're Democrats or Republicans, or you name it. They have to dance to whatever tune the bankers want them to dance to, and the people, they say they live in a free country, but a free country where they themselves aren't free. So if one individual is not free, right, and you have millions upon millions of people that are unable to move financially, is the country really free if the country itself is comprised of those people, right? So the issue here is the one of freedom, right? And so how do you tell a crappy non-MGTOW channel from a real MGTOW channel? What's the difference, right? I've wondered about this question. I wondered about that before, and I think I have an idea. I think and I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but I suspect that the real MGTOW channels, from listening to their content, you end up being a more able individual. You see, a freer individual that knows more and needs less. You see, because you're having in the case of the manosphere, right, the men that come here, they're having issues with their families, you know, or you know, the or with the women that were once considered their families, right? They're having issues that, you know, they can't see their children or whatnot. So if this kind of content empowers you, right, if it gives you freedom, if your heart is lighter because of what you have watched, then that's a real MGTOW video. But if a video, you know, or if the sort of information that you're putting in your mind here in this space for men leads you down a rabbit hole of giving more of yourself, you know, of going deeper into debt, of consuming more. In other words, if the video leads you back into the loop, if it leads you back into the system, you know, then it's not a MGTOW video. You know, that's the one distinction that I make, you know. And so you got channels out here that are saying, well, you know, it's because you don't work out, it's because you know, you have to up your income, you know, and you have the men that, you know, the only income they've shown is the one that they can make out of the suckers in their channels. You see, that's the only income they're shown that they can make. They're not out here running a business. They're not out here, you know, or doing, you know, with a trade of their own, where they can say, I'm a plumber, and I've been a plumber for 20 years, and you know, I don't own a business, but I'm a hell of a plumber, you know, and I'm respected in my trade. I know very well what I'm doing, you know. They're not saying any of that. You know, what they're saying is, send me money to support me and my habits, you know, so I can buy a fancier car, and with this fancier car, I can convince you that I'm successful. And you know, a lot of these people, they fall into this trap, and you see them. I see this MGTOW or this red pill. Most of them are red pill channels or red pill wannabes. You know, they don't really fully grasp the philosophy, except to know that they have to keep consuming, you know. And this game is not about freedom. It's not about consumption. The game is really against the power of the state and the freedom that you can have as a man. You see, that's what's at stake here. Your freedom. Not whether you can consume more, so you can attract a better hoe. You see, in the absence of women, you know, what will you do, right? Will you still consume, right? Will you still consume as much as you do? Will you work as hard as you do for the reasons that you are doing so? I suspect that the answer for most men is no, a resounding no. And so you have to be careful. You know, am I being put in chains here by this content producer, or am I becoming more free? Anyways, they came to get me, guys, so I gotta get going. See you. Bye bye.